I was 10 in this picture. It was a big deal because tell somebody you're a national champion, they think you're legit. When I kind of made my name in the sport, Wimbledon 2019, this is one of the dresses that I wore throughout.
There's a new Coco Gauff among the biggest endorsement deals in a massive cooperation in the history of tennis with a Rolex watch. Furthermore, let's just declare that the tennis players' response. There was a strong sense of community. A handful of players are happy for her. Let's just mention a few smiles, while some seemed a little forced. Tell me therefore, whether anyone is upset by Coco's triumph. How, or is it simply envy? The news fell apart this early dawn. Coco Gauff used to working along with Rolex. Indeed that the brand that exudes luxury is Rolex. Prestige as well as history. The identical one. That included Roger Federer and Serena Williams, and Tiger Woods are on their roster. Now, Coco Gauff ought to be part of the chosen group.
I grew up with the philosophy that sport can help you become a better person. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used their tennis to impact other people. I'll take that. These are the courts I grew up playing on. When I was a kid, my dad and I were looking for us or whatever. You knew we'd probably be out here on this first court.
And trust me when I say that the internet went crazy. Tennis enthusiasts were thrilled. The excessive amount of media. Timelines including her images. Additionally, essentially, the brand community replied, yes, she does represent the future, but not everyone was smiling. Due to any location throughout the journey. Most certainly, a few of players choked on. Their protein trembles as they see the headline is Coco Gauff x Rolex. Furthermore, at the top of that list of Arena Sri Lanka, mute replies. Now, no arena, before somebody comes running. Stays silent. But online tennis. Fans noticed that she suddenly stopped talking after the declaration, which is funny because when she's large, she's usually quite busy. Narratives fall separate. She is the kind of athlete that who talks about her grind, her training, and her brand sells, and she wins. She isn't shy about those things. But this moment, total silence, and others made a note. Because of the issue is that Coco's new Rolex agreement is more than just an additional sponsorship. It is a proclamation. Rolex does more than only distribute partnerships. They select athletes and icons. Periods are established by people. Currently, Federer, ever Serena, and Coco. That is somewhat important. It shows that they're not just creating an investment in a participant. They're creating a legacy investment. And that's the fascinating section because of Arena Sabalina's authority, honors, and pure. That hasn't exactly been given to supremacy. Kind of recognition outside of the court. She has won the Grand Slam. She is undoubtedly highly regarded, yet in terms of worldwide influence, Coco's journey ahead, and that must be quite painful. You are already able to identify the differences in the ways that brands move. Coco hasn't even reached her peak yet, despite the fact that she is currently Nike's face, Bose, Balance, Nubilla, and now Rolex. She is everywhere from fashion displays that are intended for magazines, covers, the next generation of well-known athletes. Even though Arena is fantastic has been unable to break in the meanwhile the same ceiling. Furthermore, it's not because she is not talented. The explanation is that Coco provides more than merely power. She's a presence.
Tell me about your ambitions in tennis.
What do you mean?
I require. When the Rolex promotional video was. When it was published, it had a powerful impact. It was more than just timepieces. It must have to do with heritage, family, and growth. Coco started the video by practicing on the same courts where she grew up. Delray Beach. You could hear her voice. I grew up in these courts, he said. Would discover my father and I having fun. It cuts to her father at this point, recalling her previous statement that, after seeing Serena's triumph, the beginning was made by the spark. At that exact moment in time of everything. And Rolex managed to record that. Perfect. It wasn't ostentatious. It wasn't that noisy. It was important. They told Coco's story as though it were written in the past. Observing Serena. When I was younger, I was a young girl. These days, players watch.
I remember she's about 5 or 6 years old and we were watching Australian Open. Serena wins. I remember saying, man, she's going to be the GOAT. And she said, what is the GOAT? I said, that's the greatest of all time. She's like, I want to be a GOAT. So I ran out and bought a racket. That's kind of how it all started.
Honestly, it's a marketing masterpiece since Coco doesn't. Must try to be relatable. You can identify with her. Despite her youth. Clever, confident, but humble. Competitive, but grounded. She is the whole product, and Rolex is conscious of it. Now, internet aficionados have started to immediately draw analogies. Coco is becoming agreements for Rolex, while others are still complaining about cue calls. A couple players toss rackets. Coco forms an agreement. The irony was intense, yet it shows how she is viewed by other people. She's not just another athlete. Her face is that of the next generation. Someone who gives grace and perseverance. Additionally, to be honest, that's why envy is so swift. Given that money isn't the only factor, it is related to respect. Coco is starting to acknowledge that others had been working on it for years.
I think I just enjoyed the fact that, everything is on your racket, your terms. My first tournament that I won, I was 8. It was Little Mo in New York City. It was the first time that we felt like I could do something far in this sport.
It reminds me of Serena's first obtained a sizable contract with Puma. In the past, she was also questioned by others said she was too young and overly chatty, noticeable. But today, Serena is a corporate powerhouse. Coco is walking along the same route and some others are uncomfortable with it. To be honest, it has been functioning difficult for years. She has discussed not always getting the same awareness or concentration. During interviews, she has also suggested that the image is occasionally more significant than just performance. And now seeing Coco get it just 21, the Rolex deal needs to be successful. A nerve. It's
remarkable. She's the youngest qualifier in history, and now she's about to compete against her idol, Venus Williams.
It felt like a storybook.
Her game is so calm and so focused.
I just remember not looking at the scoreboard the entire match because I didn't want to see her name. The hardest points of the match were the match points. It felt like I was holding my breath. I don't want to be known as the girl who got close.
Since Coco is not just a player of tennis, she represents anything bigger. In the 1950s, grandma taught in integrated schools. Her dad made a dream out of empty courts. Factory. Her mother taught her to be disciplined in her and perseverance. Right now, Coco is putting all of that history into practice. She's not just wearing a fancy brand. She is altering the meaning of that luxury. As stated by Rolex, Coco was chosen because of her commitment to morality and excellence. It wasn't a arbitrary cue. That's what exists right now. Brands want athletes who don't only honors, but a cause in addition to. Coco always has that with her. Goes. She has talked about her family, her Faith, as well as her belief that the ability to change the world with your racket, they are more than just enjoyable. Quotes. Her whole idea is built on that. That's how companies think. Strive for alignment within the. In the meanwhile, the tennis world is observing everything. Furthermore, you can practically hear the whispers. Why her? Why so fast? Is it just accessible to the public? Relationships? The answer is simple. Since Coco comprehends, she understands what modern athletes are supposed to be. Voices, not only victorious, not just players, but icons. The arena is a incredible athlete without confidence. But Coco has the rare ability to make anything she thinks is bigger when she makes contact. When she wins, it's more than only an individual achievement. It's a cultural one. Because of this, brands queue up for her. Furthermore, this Rolex cooperation, it's the cherry on top cake. It confirms that Coco Gauff has officially entered the elite's dominion. She is no longer the emerging star. The star is her. But this is when the humor comes in. Begins. The internet is unable to resist making things dramatic. You had admirers in a few hours, generating memes, editing photos, and producing fake captions that resemble Arena looking at her wrist. No Rolex, for example. The memes were hilarious but harsh. Twitter 4. Even tennis had a great time. As per, Coco was signed by Rolex to one post since. This is her time. One more stated. Arena is going to start building a Casio in. You can use the internet to protest. Savage but true. In actuality,